Hello, beauty-filled world. This is my round 2 of Happy Hump Day with Shae. I went live at 11 and was talking, and then the cat brought in a live bird. I have 2 cats, and it's pretty exciting. If you have cats, you know what it's like. They kind of rule the roost. Earlier, I was teaching a live Pilates class, and the same thing happened. So, restarting, staying committed, and I just locked the cats outside. So there you go. How is your hump day going? How is your Wednesday going during this COVID opportunity? Yeah. I am coming live on my Shae Bryant Wellness page. I have 777 followers and realize that I don't give this page as much attention. Just giving voice to what am I giving attention to or not. So I envision just coming on here being very real and kind of updating with whatever I am going through and being a little more open with, what my own practice is and what it is that I teach and how I serve. So just giving voice to that teaching coming through, what am I giving my attention to? And it's almost, if you've ever heard the saying, which wolf are you feeding inside yourself? So in any moment, you get to choose, quite literally, your beliefs. You get to choose what thought filter you are seeing the world through. And with myself during this COVID opportunity, recognizing, where am I putting my attention? And is my attention in gratitude? Is my attention on what is working? And where have I perhaps, changed my attention to my detriment? So during these times, if you are more heart-centered, if you are an empath, if you are sensitive, if you're just a normal person, you're going to be highly influenced by this, COVID destruction time. And so checking in with ourselves and being like, how okay am I? How resourced am I? How fueled up am I? How am I doing on the inside? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, how am I doing? And when the external, right? Remember that hierarchy of needs? So when the physical and the external are starting to get messed with, and, you see this chaos or a lack of grounding, around you in the physical, I know for myself that can easily cause more of a destabilization on the inside. But life is paradoxical. And the more that the external falls away and is ungrounded, the more I must ground within myself, the more I must find that stability within myself. That was a huge journey for me. As a highly sensitive person and probably someone who just didn't take responsibility enough for her own emotions, I have always been very influenced by things. And so the external really determined my mood, right? If it wasn't going well out here, then it wasn't going well in here. Even in my relationships, if my relationship wasn't going okay, then I wasn't okay. And making that holy shift, taking that sovereign stance to, wait, the power is within me. And actually, in truth, all that around me can fall away. And my responsibility is still, how am I doing in here? And that's the paradox. If I am doing okay in here, if I can align in here, then I can handle what's happening out there. So asking myself, right? That's what this live is about, is letting you guys know my own process. And if it helps you, wonderful. So just noticing where my attention is in any moment. Is it what is working? And also reminding myself, what have I done in my life that I know does help me, that does refuel me, that I might not be doing right now? Where am I letting COVID distract me from my practices that I might need? So a lot of you, many of you, and maybe some of you are getting interested in this, and doing practices, what I call stillness practices, connection practices. Is it movement like yoga or Tai Chi, mindful movement? Is it meditation? Is it chanting? Is it prayer? Is it contemplation? Is it reading holy texts and books? So just giving voice to myself as a reminder, and maybe to you as a reminder, do you need to up your game on how you are nourishing yourself? And I know it's important to nourish yourself physically, but I have found that there is no greater nourishment than spiritually. As a person who's been, in the physical realm, healing people physically my entire life, that's what I've done. And from all that data, I've recognized in myself and thousands of people that it's all spiritually based. So quite literally, your attitude, where you're at up here and in here, affects all of that out there. And so just as a moment of accountability, I can attest, I need to up my own game of connection. And I've been doing that in this past week, definitely. Sticking to my own schedule, what I call a schedule of success. Going to bed earlier. It can be harder to do if you don't have the external pressures, but knowing that going to bed on time, knowing if I get up early, getting up with the sunrise and saying, I see you sunrise, I am thankful, I am here. I am thankful, I am here. Some days I am more beaten down by this COVID opportunity. And then other days I remember to rise and make that sovereign stance of I am here, I am ready, I am here. And maybe adding in the prayer, give me the strength, give me the resources, give me the wisdom that I need to get through this. So in my own journey, it was making a shift towards reverence, towards what I call reverence rituals. A lot of you might know me as an embodied movement therapist. I use Pilates, I use yoga, I use massage to help people heal physically. But as I just said, I believe it is really, really the internal healing, the connection to self, the connection to source. And for me, it was really healing my relationship with source, right? Reclaiming it, reclaiming God. In my own life, I would say that my relationship with God was strained via the religious upbringing that I had. And I was taught that God was very external, and I was taught that I was very sinful, and you might have been taught something similar. And you might still believe that, and that's great. I'm not trying to challenge anyone's beliefs. I'm trying to make sure that you have your own beliefs, though, and that you have a right to reclamation. And that's what we are going through. We are going through some serious reclamation times. So feel free to reclaim your connection to source. I honestly believe that's what we're really going through as a species, is that we're changing paradigms from force, domination, patriarchy, disconnected masculine, disconnected heart. This isn't related to gender. This is what's all within us. Energy is within us. And I believe that now we are finally, thankfully, dear God, shifting back into heart-centeredness, into connection, into the feminine, into the yin, into that way of being. That is a medicine that we must do and we have to do to heal. And so even in my own journey, it has been that journey from the head to the heart. And in yoga, the heart-centered practices are referred to as bhakti yoga. And that was a shift for me. Moving from the head to the heart, moving into reverence. And as we talk about consciousness and awakening, right? That awakening awareness, that's what we are attempting to move into. If you're doing any kind of awakening, you're awakening from thought and ego and into conscious awareness. Well, you can add on to that reverential awareness. So if you swing that way towards reverence, towards holiness, for me, I had to reclaim God for myself and clean up that word and de-gender him and take him out of the sky on some pedestal where he was judging me and my genitalia and all my choices. Holy moly. Clean all that crap up and reclaim God, reclaim source. And then remind myself, have you connected today? And what practices, what reverential rituals help me stay connected and refueled? So one of them that helps me immensely that I'd highly recommend is poetry, what I call mystical poetry. And this can be in all kinds of spiritual traditions. There are stunningly gorgeous Christian mystics. And there are, some from all the above. And so I'm going to read a poem right now. And this is actually from Saint Teresa of Avila. And she was a Christian mystic herself. It's so lovely to have some female words here. And I think this really, the reason I like mystical poetry is because these were people who connected to source and they connected to self and they put it through their voice and into words and into this world. And I have found as I read mystical poetry, my own consciousness shifts to theirs. By reading their words, I can shift into a higher state of beingness. So this for me is like bread. It is fuel for my soul and for my heart. So if you've never tried that on, mystical poetry, I highly recommend Rumi, R-U-M-I, as a poet. And this is Saint Teresa of Avila. I consider her an amazing spiritual badass. And here are her words in a poem called The Servant of Unity. How about that? The Servant of Unity. Most men in power have not the strength nor wisdom to be satisfied with the way things are. The sane know contentment, for beauty is their lover, and beauty is never absent from this world. The farther away light is from one's touch, the more one naturally speaks of the need for change. Yes, overthrow any government inside that makes you weep. The child blames the external and focuses his energies there. The warrior conquers the realms within and becomes gifted. Only the inspired should make any decisions that affect the lives of many. Never a man who has not held God in his arms and become the servant of unity. So much power in her words. And having that holy prayer of yes, that those that lead our governments, those that lead in this world, may they be a servant of unity. And so focusing on taking that holy vow to become a servant of unity. Maybe that resonates with you as well. And recognizing that in any moment, how connected am I to self and my heart? How connected am I to source? Am I being a channel, a holy vessel for love? And if not, can I forgive myself for that? Can I soften enough in order to reconnect? Because in truth, that connection is available in any moment. But if we're finding ourselves low on fuel, that's pretty damn understandable. And you might need some community. So reach out to people around you, reach out to family and friends that help you feel joyful and connected and filled up. And if you're interested, as a way to do that, I have an amazing offering that focuses exactly on reverence rituals, and it is called Pilgrim Within. And it is a 7-month virtual spiritual pilgrimage from summer solstice to winter solstice. So this is about healing and using the rest of 2020 consciously to take a spiritual journey within ourselves, through the 7 holy chakras of ourselves, to dive deeply into healing ourselves and viewing ourselves and learning to love ourselves, reclaiming God's source, finding the reverence rituals that do fill us up to give us the fuel source, that then we can be a beacon, we can be a source of bread, we can be a source of that love fuel for others. So if you are interested, Pilgrim Within begins officially on May 31st. So you still have time to sign up. Doors are open until Memorial Day. So you've got 2 weeks. Information is at ShaeBryantWellness.com. Pilgrim Within. 7-month virtual spiritual pilgrimage. And I have payment plans, and I also do not want a lack of funds to be an issue that somebody could not do this. So if you are interested, I will definitely work with you. If you need reverence rituals, if you need connection, if you need reclamation, all of these things, then I want to support you in that. Because times are a-changing, and we need to be fueled up, and we need to be aligned with purpose, and we need to be a vehicle for the new earth that is being birthed. I'm so honored to be here with you, sharing in our journey. And I'll be back here next Wednesday, Hump Day with Shae. All willing, technology willing, cats willing to be here and just being vulnerable and honest, honorable with my own journey of what we're going through, sharing in that journey, and becoming that servant of unity. Sending immense love and support for all that you are doing. Love.